And we're now joined on the sofa. I think this is the first time that I've had you on the sofa with me. Martin Ho, thank you so much for spending some time with us.
Thanks for having me.
How are you getting on?
Yeah, really good. Yeah, we've had a wonderful start. We're now in preparation for Brighton on the weekend. So, yeah, everything's going well and players are back in today for the first training session since Leicester. So, yeah, all preparations and all go towards Brighton.
Take me into a bit more detail then. How would you break down your start?
I think the first game, obviously for everyone, there was probably some nerves, there was probably excitement at the same time. So yeah, and then we come out with a really positive result of not a great performance, but we could see what we were trying to do and the identity was starting to show. And I think we took that really well into Everton. I thought that was more of a complete performance from start to finish of how organised and resilient we were and hard to break down, but I thought we were very dangerous going forward. We had definitely added a lot to the game from previous. And then going into Manchester City, which we know is the difficult games, but more important, we have to be willing to stand up and be competitive. And that was a difficult night for us. I thought we started the game really well. And we had moments in the second half, one with Olivia's goal. So, and then I thought off the ball, we were a little bit 2 or 3 yards behind, I would say, in terms of with the pressure. Then we went into Aston Villa, and again, it was more of a scrappy game. I felt it was like a cup fixture. And then, yeah, I thought the character we showed to win it on penalties and take the extra point was really nice. And then we went into Leicester on the weekend knowing it was going to be another tough game. I think we started the game exceptionally well. We moved the ball well. We went 2-0 up. We let them back into it with some poor defending from our behalf and probably us with poor possession. And then second half was, yeah, really big character showing at the end of a 3-game week. I think there's going to be some tired players and the legs are going to be tired, but I think the resilience and the commitment shown to defend the goal and see the result out was really important and probably for me really pleasing to see.
What was the best performance so far, do you think? Maybe if you take away result, just in terms of performance.
I think from different games, I think Everton was the more complete one from both phases of the game. But then I liked the character and the strong mentality to turn up and from the players to win that penalty shootout. And then more importantly in Leicester to see the game out as a 2-1 and take 3 points is definitely a big step in the right direction for us in those moments when you're not at your best but you can see a game out. You're not at your best for long periods but you can win a game, and I think that's signs of a good team moving forward. And that's probably the biggest part that I've took from snippets from each one.
It felt like against Everton there was a level of control that perhaps for this group, maybe they haven't felt for a little while, that they're in total control of a game? Yeah,
no, I totally agree. I think from start to finish with the ball, I thought we controlled the game really well. We dictated the tempo and the speed of the game and when we wanted to attack and when we enabled them to attack and not. I thought off the ball, defensively, we were outstanding. The higher pressure, the mid-pressure, and then when we had to defend the box, I thought we'd done it really well. And we nullified then Everton really to absolutely nothing within the game. I didn't think at any point we were going to be troubled or they were going to open us up. They maybe had 1 or 2 half chances, I thought, that at least had to deal with. But apart from that, I thought we were outstanding in that game.
How close do you feel that the team are to the levels that you wanted them to be over the summer? So I remember you saying you were going to make sure people were prepared to work hard, they were going to run more than the opponents. How close are we to where you want the team to be there?
We're closer. I think it's going to take time to get us to that point with more higher demand on the defending in terms of the pressure phase, and you obviously then have to increase the conditioning of the players and obviously not break them and make sure you build that up at the right rate, which we are. I think we're getting closer and closer to where we want. I think now where we're sitting in terms of our PPDA is the highest in the league for higher pressure.
Well, tell people about that. That's really interesting. Tell people, for maybe people who don't know about PPDA, what does that mean?
Passes per defensive action. So the passes we allow before we have a defensive action is where we're sitting top on that. So we're not allowing the opposition to have many passes or actions with the ball before we engage, which obviously shows the height that we're engaging at, which is different to what we've had previously. So that's a really big positive for us. And more importantly, then we have to back that up with when we're up that part of the pitch. Are we compact still? Are we aggressive in the duel? Are we regaining the ball? So yeah, there's lots of big steps forward, and I think we obviously see it different as coaches because we look at so many different data points. But maybe for the fans, it's a little bit different. But I think to be in a position where we're now 9 points from 12, the players deserve a lot of credit. They worked extremely hard, and yeah, I'm proud of all their efforts in the games we've had. And long may it continue now moving into this next block of games.
Does the messaging change week to week? Are you still looking to kind of get across the same messages that you were in week 1? Or are you starting to evolve ideas and try and tinker with
yeah,
ideas
the
now?
principles remain the same in terms of what we encourage the players to do, and we have a really good foundation and framework on that. You maybe tweak slightly on the tactical elements of the game, of where we feel our players can exploit theirs, and so they evolve every week, but it's all around the core principles of what we play to. So that's not changed a lot, but more the detail and refining that detail has changed as we've gone through the weeks in terms of the expectation we set and the demands we want of one another. And as you go further and further in, the smaller details matter more when you go into games. So just refining small details and probably the demands on the players a little bit more. But more importantly, making sure that we stick to the principles and identity.
Can I go back to match week 1? I realise you said it probably wasn't like the best performance we're going to have all season. How crucial now does it feel that you, maybe not so much the goal, because it comes from a really nice bit of pressure, win a penalty is well taken, but the defensive stability and the shutout that you got on the day, just in terms of how hard the team had to work towards the end, how important does that now look to you in the context of the season?
No, I think it's big, and it's probably an aspect that maybe you wouldn't think I would as a coach focus on a lot, because I'm really kind of attack oriented, but more importantly, that probably sets your foundation to attack. I think in that game we blocked well, we stopped shots, we defended the box, and some really, really good crosses they put into the box. I thought we defended really well. Set plays also, we defended well. I think more importantly, you've seen a real resilience to the group, that they weren't willing to let the shot go to goal. They weren't willing to let someone have a free opportunity. And in that game, I think that really showed me that we can do it, and we have a real strong foundation to build from. And since then, I think we've grown in every game. We've maybe had Man City, maybe is the one where we were offered a little bit with the pressure. But apart from that, I think in the other 3 games, I thought we've been quite good. And as I said, against Leicester, the back end of the game, when you've got some tired players, I thought we actually just held the lead really well and seen it out really well. Can
you tell people a little bit about your coaching team? You had a couple of changes there, and it looks like, I mean, I'm not revealing too much behind the curtain here, but it looks like you guys are incredibly hands-on over there. Like whenever I come over, I see you in the middle of the pitch, and not just you, the other coaches as well, working really hard one-on-one with players. Why is that important to you?
Yeah, really big. Individual development, so big for me in terms of within a team context. If we can develop the individual, the team then naturally benefits, I feel. And I want to make sure, and I'm big on that as a coach, making sure we really refine and evolve each player's game and really try and help them be better as individuals and as people, more importantly. And the staff I've got a wonderful group of staff who are very committed, very diligent with the planning and more importantly, their delivery. The messages they give across are very consistent. But more important, we're trying to create an environment where these players can develop, can learn, can be better in all phases of the game and all aspects of their game. And also away from the pitch, not just the coaching staff. We have a wonderful team behind me around physical, medical, and the analytics who give the players every sort of bit of information they need, and that enables them to go into games feeling confident and knowing what they need to do, but also enables them to be fitter, faster, stronger as we go through the league.
I realise it's a real team effort, and if you look through all of the games, all of the positive stuff we've done has been across the board. But I did just want to pick up Tinker, because she's just arrived, and for a lot of people that haven't watched her play before, they might not really recognise sort of much of her game or know what was coming. She has hit the ground running and created a bit of a storm in terms of the games that she's played. What have you made of her performances so far?
Yeah, really good, because you come into an environment, she's a big character and she's got a really good personality, and I didn't think it took her long to settle into the group. But more importantly, she's work rate and work ethic's incredible. Doesn't stop, fights, is willing to run, and is probably one of the only players who actually says I enjoy defending more than I do scoring. So that's probably a big plus in terms of from a forward perspective, because they start the pressure higher up. But more importantly, I think she settled in really well. She's starting to adapt to new environments, new culture, new training methodology. She's now working on loads of different aspects of her game, which is important, not just on the pitch, but off it. And yeah, she's had 2 goals in the 4 games she's been involved in, and I think there's more to come from Katinga. She's not where she wants to be, and she's not where we want her to be, but that will take a little bit of time to really refine the edges with her. But no, I'm really pleased with her. She's she wears a heart on her sleeve. She loves this club. She gives everything every time she goes onto the pitch, and yeah, she's going to be a handful if she's not already for some teams in this league.
Finally, just tell me a little bit about you. How have you settled in? It feels like you're part of the furniture. It feels like you literally have been here for ages. You seem incredibly comfortable in the environment, but it has only been, what, a couple of months that you've actually been in North London. So how have you settled, and how are you finding being a part of the club?
No, amazing. I've settled in really well. The staff and players have made that transition really smooth. As I said, we've got a wonderful backroom staff behind me, and people away from me of leadership and operations. They've helped me settle in a lot. But yeah, when you come into an environment where you've got good people, more importantly, you've got hard-working staff and players, it makes your job a lot easier, because there's a baseline and a framework already that you can work from. But yeah, more importantly, I'm enjoying it. Now we're starting to really build some momentum and some stability within the team and within performance. Yeah, and as we said, we've added some backroom staff too, which is really important for the individual players and those aspects of the game. So yeah, I'm really settled. I'm enjoying it, and yeah, we just want to make sure we continue to evolve and progress, and we can work towards the ambitions we have as a team.
Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you.